Hi there, my name is Jasmine Jones. I am the Manager of Research and Product Development at AHP, and I'm going to show you how to access your performance scorecard as a report on giving participant. So as you can see, we are on our main AHP website here. You can just get to this website by typing in ahp.org. And if you go to the top navigation up here, you're going to see a button that says AHP Prime. Go ahead and click on that, and you will be redirected to the login page for the benchmarking platform. So this is the same login credentials that you use to register for an AHP event, to register for a webinar, to log into the AHP huddle, all of that good stuff. This is the same login. So we're gonna go ahead and type that in. And then you'll be taken to the benchmarking platform. So there's a couple of different options here. I'm just going to walk through a high-level overview of everything, and then we can get into some of the nitty-gritty details. So up here, you'll see that we have a Give Us Feedback button, and this is where you can get specific about any feedback that you'd like to give while you're in the benchmarking platform. So you can see, you can let us know about a bug, enhancement that you'd like to see, kudos that you'd like to give the team, or any other comment that you have. And then you can select the specific functionality that you're using within the benchmarking platform. And then in this details box, you just type in your comment, you hit send, and then this goes straight to our email inbox at prime@ahp.org. We also have this little button here that has your name. You can click this to get into some of the account management within your AHP membership. So if we click this, we'll be taken to a view where you have some of your account details here. You can view your member roster. And if you scroll down, you have a couple of different options to edit some of the demographics within your account. And close out of that. And then to the far right, you have an option to log out of the benchmarking platform. And when you do this, you'll be taken back to AHP's main website. On the left-hand side here, you can see a couple of different buttons. I'm not going to walk through too much of these in detail just because some of these are specific to the view of the benchmarking platform you would have as an AHP Prime member. As a report on giving participant, you're mainly going to be in the dashboards view. So this is what we're going to focus on for the most part today. But if you click on this user guide, which I will show you in depth in a little bit, you can actually get an outline of some of the different options here and what exactly they are. So for now, we're just going to go ahead and collapse this. And now we're going to get into the main dashboard view that you see here. So within the new benchmarking platform, we have what are called dashboards. And a dashboard is pretty much just a collection of different metrics within the benchmarking platform that you can put into one area, you can view as a chart, and you can also select different comparison sets. You can select different fiscal years within your dashboard, but it all lives in one place. So as a report on giving participant, AHP has pre-created a performance scorecard dashboard for you. So this dashboard is going to include 16 metrics that we always have available to our report on giving participants every year. So first, you're going to see the option to select a comparison set up here. And if we click this drop down, you can see that there are options to select comparison sets of our high performers from fiscal year 2018 through fiscal year 2019. These comparison sets are also comparison sets that are pre-made by AHP and available to you as a report on giving participant. So you're going to have access to 9 different comparison sets here. To the right here, we have the option to select different fiscal years of data. So in the benchmarking platform, you have access to data going back to fiscal year 2015, all the way up to the most recent year of data as I'm recording this video, fiscal year 2019. So if we just wanted to look at fiscal year 2019, we could do that by selecting fiscal year 2019 for both of these options. But for now, we're just going to look at fiscal year 2015 all the way up to fiscal year 2019. And then moving all the way to the right of our screen here, you can see the option to export your dashboard. So you can export this straight to print, you can export it to a PDF, to a PowerPoint, or you can just export the raw data into a CSV file if you'd like to manipulate it yourself. And then you can see that we have 2 options here to add a chart to our dashboard or to manage our dashboard. These buttons are applicable to our AHP Prime members, so you don't need to be concerned with these if you're just taking a look at this view as a report on giving participant. And again, the user guide does outline what these 2 buttons look like as an AHP Prime member, But pretty much with a pre-made dashboard within the benchmarking platform, you can add a chart or remove a chart. You can manage dashboards. You can add new dashboards, all of that good stuff. But as a report on giving participant, you don't need to be worried with either of these buttons here. And then scrolling down to the charts down here, this is where you're actually going to see the metrics that are available to you as a report on giving participant within the performance scorecard. So if you've done the report on giving in previous years, you'll recognize a lot of these as some of the key fundraising metrics that we highlight every year. So here we have return on investment, cost to raise $1, net fundraising revenue per direct staff FTE, total fundraising expenses, and total endowment. And for each of these metrics, you have your organization's data highlighted here in light blue. And then you have an aggregated view of your comparison set that you're using. So this is highlighting the average return on investment for fiscal year 2015 for the comparison set that we have selected. And then you also have this little expand square here that you can click and look at a view of this chart blown up into greater detail. So I will get to that in just a second. But before we do that, I just wanted to walk through the different charts that are available within your dashboard for each metric that's available for the performance scorecard. So using return on investment as an example, you can see that you actually have 4 different charts here for return on investment. If you've done the report on giving in the past, or you are familiar with AHP's report on giving and the benchmarking data, you'll know that with metrics like return on investment, there's actually 2 different calculations that we can look at. We can look at return on investment in cash, or we can look at return on investment in production. But here you also have 2 additional options for return on investment recorded and return on investment production. And you can see that both of these say since 2019. And this is because we are highlighting new AHP standards that we are using for fiscal year 2019. So from fiscal years 2015 through fiscal year 2018, we were using old AHP standards that use a different revenue model for calculating return on investment. So from those fiscal years, we used a cash and production revenue model. But for fiscal year 2019, up through other fiscal years of data that we gather in the future, we're going to be using new AHP standards, and those AHP standards are using a recorded revenue versus production revenue model instead of the old cash versus production revenue model. So you can see here that for the cash and production return on investment, we only have data going from fiscal year 2015 through fiscal year 2018. And then when we look at return on investment recorded and return on investment production here, you can see that we only have data for fiscal year 2019. So if we scroll back up to the top of our dashboard, when you select different fiscal years of data, so say we just wanted to look at fiscal year 2019, you'll see that some of these charts will show that there is missing data. And this doesn't mean that we don't have data for this chart. This just means that we don't have data for this chart specific to fiscal year 2019. So if we expand our fiscal years range again, you can see that everything repopulates down here in our dashboard. So we actually have in our user guide an article that kind of walks through the different changes between the AHP standards and the different fiscal years that are available in the benchmarking platform. So if you do go into our user guide again with this little blue button right here to the left screen, you'll get access to that article, and I'll show you where exactly that is in just a minute. So for now, let's just use total fundraising expenses. So we're going to click this little square that says expand here. And when you expand your chart, you can see a blown up view of the metrics that we were just looking at on our previous screen. So here we're just looking at total fundraising expenses. You have the option to select different fiscal years of data here. So let's narrow this down to just fiscal year 2019 to make things easier. You can also switch back and forth between the different metrics that are available on your scorecard by clicking these arrows here. Or you can just click this this drop down here and get a nice neat little list of all of the different metrics that are available within your performance scorecard. And then looking at the view down here at your chart, in this light blue bar, you have the view of your organization's data, and then this dark blue bar here, you have an aggregated view of the organizations within your comparison set. And then looking to the right of your screen here, all the way at the top, you have the option to export from the screen as well. So again, you can export to print, PDF, a PowerPoint, or a CSV file. And then looking at this chart here, these are all of the different organizations that are available within your comparison set that you selected on that previous screen. So you can see that all of them are listed as anonymous institutions, and this is because we want to protect the identities of each of the organizations that are within your comparison set. And then looking to the right of that, you have the values for each of these different organizations. So these are the values of total fundraising expenses that each of these organizations reported for fiscal year 2019. And you can see that you have these little chevrons right here next to the values button. You can click these and the data will actually be sorted. So now we're looking at lowest to highest. If we click it again, you'll get a sort of highest to lowest. And if you click it one more time, it'll just reset all of the values for you so that nothing is sorted. But for now, let's just look at it from lowest to highest just to make things easier. You have two different options when you're looking at this view of a metric. So we can look at a view of all of our organizations in our chart. And if we want to do that, we can click this little checkbox here and it'll add every single organization that is on our comparison set to our chart to the left. So if we click this, you can see that all of our organizations have populated here with their values for total fundraising expenses. And then we still have an aggregated view here of our comparison set, as well as a view of our organization's data. And if we uncheck this box, that'll undo all of the organizations being populated in our chart. So let's say that we want to get a little bit more specific and look at organizations that are similar to ours. So if we hover over the My Organization bar here, you can see that we reported 10.8 million for total fundraising expenses. So say we want to look at organizations that fit close to that range of 10.8 million. So we can select this organization here. Let's do this one as well, and this one. And you can see that in the chart to the left, we have populated each of those organizations' values next to our organization's value. And then we still have a comparison set aggregate here, which you can actually just get rid of by using the label at the bottom of the chart. You can do that with any of these bars, depending on what you want to take a look at. But here we're just looking at our organization's data next to the three organizations that we selected within our comparison set. And that is the main walkthrough of what you have access to within your performance scorecard. If you click this performance benchmarking button here, you'll be taken back to your main dashboard view of your performance scorecard. So you can dig into any of these other metrics. You can change the comparison sets. You can change the fiscal years as well. Anything you'd like to do within your performance scorecard, you can do from this screen. Now we're going to get into the user guide really quickly, just so you can kind of see where some of our help documents are located. So clicking the user guide, it'll take us straight to whatever page we're on within the benchmarking platform. So because we were just on our dashboard screen, it's taking us to a create a new dashboards page. But if we expand this little sidebar here, and you see that there's one that says I am a participant in the Report on Giving survey. If you click on that, you have a couple of different options. So you have a getting started page, which kind of outlines some of the main functionalities that we talked about in the very beginning of this video. It goes into detail about some of those. And then if you click how to view your performance scorecard, it walks through what we just walked through. So how to select your comparison sets in the fiscal years, how to expand your charts, how to select different organizations within your comparison set, all of that good stuff is available here in case you need to reference it, which takes you to the AHP standards manual. So this has both our old and new standards available for your review. We also have an outline of the different calculations that we use within the benchmarking platform, a glossary of terms as well. And then we have that article that I was referencing talking about the changes between each of the standards from fiscal year 2015 through 2018. That's all outlined here for your review. This gets into some of the nitty-gritty details of how the revenue model shifts from each fiscal year. So if you do want to take a look at that information, that is available here for you as well. And that is it. If you have any questions about what you have access to in the benchmarking platform, if you're having issues logging into the benchmarking platform, any questions at all, you can always reach out to us at benchmarking@ahp.org.